everybody. Welcome to Fade to Obsidian, your Flame of Prometheus podcast about spaceships, relationships, and everything in between. A very special episode. As always, I am Crescent, joined by Skipper.
Hello.
And returning to have a full spoilers discussion of her new book, Flame of Prometheus, Twist. Welcome back, Twist.
Thank you for having me again.
Welcome back.
Of course.
Okay, before
Always.
we do anything, what spaceships are in this book, Crescent?
There's no spaceships in here.
Just because they're not talked about doesn't
I was
mean-
like,
they exist. I mean, they
Spaceships exist.
they read. Doesn't she read Red Rising, Space Odyssey, right?
Yeah.
Like she reads sci-fi. There's some spaceships
somewhere in there.
In there.
Between the lines.
Yeah. Let's go with
There's
that.
hover cars.
It's called
Hover cars.
extrapolation.
The train at the beginning, is there anything fancy about the crazy train? Or is it just a train?
Nothing super. I just kind of pictured like one of those speed trains.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, like.
Oh, so it's just the movie Bullet Train.
I haven't seen Bullet Train.
What was that
Ooh,
one?
highly recommend. It's great.
There was this one movie my husband and I watched about a whole society on a train, like the world was frozen over.
Snowpiercer.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
That was a
Was it the movie or the show?
movie?
Oh.
Movie.
There's a whole ass series on it on Netflix.
There's a really interesting. Right.
It's got David Diggs. Great.
All right. There you go. There's Crescent's
Anyways,
recommendation
nice little
of the day.
tangent.
Yeah, I know, right from the start. All right, well, what are we drinking today before we get into anything? Crescent, you're boring, so what do you have?
What? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So I'm drinking Summersby Red Rhubarb.
Hey!
And also Summersby Mango Lime.
Double fisting.
Yep. All right, I am hiding mine just for you because we forever have gone back and forth on my use of lemon juice. So I have made it's a 11-drop martini that I added soda stream water to with a whole ass lemon in it.
Whole ass lemon in there. Oh my goodness. I'm so proud.
Can't say there's no
Thank
fresh
you.
juice in there.
Okay.
Yeah. Right? There's probably also seeds and a whole bunch of other stuff. So when I'm later choking, it's from that.
It'll be my fault.
Yeah. And it is also Empress Gin, which is why it's purple. But yeah.
How'd it turn out?
I don't know. I haven't had a sip yet. Delicious. Perfect. Love it.
Delightful.
Yes.
Oh,
Just
jealous. I am drinking Mocktail.
Nice.
It's got non-alcoholic tequila. It's from like Free Spirits something. It's got a non-alcoholic Apertivo, so kind of like an Aperol or Campari non-alcoholic version. Lemon juice and ginger beer.
Nice. It sounds tasty.
Yum.
It's very zesty.
Very zesty.
Very zesty.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yes, I am still very sober, very pregnant. So
You're getting there. It's almost
getting there.
Yep.
coming. 2-ish months, right? 2.5.
2-ish months, 2.5, yeah.
And then baby
Keep telling me
Twizzler.
it'll go by. Baby Twizzler.
I love it.
Excited. We are getting her nursery all finished up, and so
It's dragon themed, right? Is that what I
yes, baby dragons.
love it.
Hell yeah.
Very excited. We like on Etsy. There's this cute shop, and like we got like final stickers to put on the walls, and there's little baby dragons everywhere.
That's adorable. I love that so much.
So you're definitely getting them a little dragon onesie, right?
Yeah, it's on the wish list. That it's not technically a dragon. It says it's a dinosaur one.
Okay, but like,
Lame.
what
Oh, we
is
might
it?
have to add it. there's no tail, and you're like, dragons have tails.
Yeah, you have to.
I would think
But so
that
do dinosaurs do. Yeah, what dinosaur doesn't have a tail?
A pterodactyl?
Technically, a pterodactyl is not a
They have-
dinosaur if you like.
It's
like a
just
whole
super
thing.
bird.
Yeah, yeah.
What
I don't know,
is
we-
it then?
I don't know. We had this in the den though. There was a whole discussion about this in the den one day.
Oh, I
Yeah.
missed that discussion.
Yeah. Also, I think pterodactyls do have tails.
Do have tails.
Yeah.
I'm really strapping to not think of dinosaur that doesn't have a tail.
I think they all have tails. It's whether or not they have wings.
Yep.
I would say dragon versus dinosaur.
Right.
Yep.
Onesie didn't have wings.
Oh,
it.
we can sew some wings on. We can do this.
It sounds like a grandma job.
Yep. We'll make it happen. Somebody,
Make it happen.
everybody send Twist dinosaur onesies. Sorry, dragon onesies.
Dragon
onesies.
onesies.
Yeah. I love it. All right. Let's jump into it. So it's going to be part of the disclaimer, but so everyone knows, we are doing full spoilers for Flame of Prometheus. I went with Flame there. Flame of Prometheus. So if you have not read the book, goodbye. Go read it and then come back to us.
And go read it.
Yes, do read it.
It is available
It
at
is very good.
everywhere that books are sold. So you will easily find it. Oh, we should mention that your real name is actually Taryn L Davidson. They're not going to
Yes,
find it
that-
under the author of Twist.
It's not under Twist. I should have, I should have changed it. I should have just
You
said
should
The Flame
have.
of Prometheus by Twist.
By Twist.
By Twist.
Would have been great.
Mononym.
Yeah,
Gotta love it.
it's perfect. Well, so we've already had you on to talk briefly. Well, not briefly. We were like a full hour about
It was a good discussion.
Yeah.
But it was really hard to keep my mouth shut.
I know. Well, and that's, we
Yeah.
even had moments where, like, because I hadn't read the back of the book. Remember there was a moment you guys were like, you can talk about this. And I was like, no, I can't. But I never read the back of the book. So I was like, oh, Calum is, like, known. Rather than, like, I wouldn't even.
Read the whole book except for the back.
Yeah, I was like, no, we're not talking about that. Like, we're not doing it. So now we can talk about everything, Calum. I've got a whole list, actually, because we'll bring
Fucking
it up.
Okay, cool.
Ulysses and
Ulysses,
oh god,
Rhea, Lydia.
Okay.
I've got the whole. You'll find out later, Twist, on why I have a list of their names sitting next to me. We're gonna play a
There's a
fun
good
game
amount of
later. There
We're gonna play
is.
big game.
It's good. It's gonna be good. Okay, we'll talk about the amount of characters. How do you keep them all straight? Like, are you that person who has Post-it notes on, like, this is this person's personality, or is it just they write themselves?
Yeah, you with the fucking red string.
Right. At one point I did. In our old apartment, a nice blank wall where my desk was. Now here is my writing desk, and so it's a lot harder to do that. So I just have journal, a big sketchbook basically, that all of my ideas, all my names, all my people, my plot board goes in there. So I always have that next to me when I'm writing to get all the names straight. But then, like, after spending so much time with these characters in your head, like a crazy person, you begin to really understand who they are, and it becomes easy to differentiate them.
Yeah, you start being able to think of them like just people that you know.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. I like that. Do their names come first, or like personality or writing, and then like, oh, this name would suit them, or what does that look like?
Name? That's tough. Name is probably not the first thing, but it's one of the first things. I'm a huge name person. I put a lot of effort and research into names.
Okay.
I look up their meanings, their, where they originate from, if they're part of any lores and stuff like that. And so it's definitely part of the process of creating the character. But usually I kind of have an idea of what the character's purpose is and some general characteristics on like if they're easygoing or if they're stubborn, if they're fun or if they're more serious,
Yep.
So, but Rowan's name came pretty quickly. I think the only one that took a little while to stick was Althea. Which now I love it and it fits her perfectly, but it was a little bit harder to get a good name for her that I really liked.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because that was going to be the one that I was like, how do you even pronounce?
Althea. Yeah. That's how I pronounce it.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah.
Needed as much of a party name as a party girl.
Yeah.
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 Something unique, something that like is unique but still a little edgy because she's, not like the fun teeny bop party girl, she's like that. Yeah. We're gonna go out, we're gonna go hard, and this, like kind of
strapped in.
Yeah.
Well, and in some cases you had to do middle names too, so it's Rowan,
Eloise Darrow.
Eloise. I was like, what's the E? What's the E? And then Caleb Orion
Asuf.
Yeah.
And for them, I wanted them to have middle names to really round out the characters. Somewhere written down, everyone has a middle name. I don't necessarily remember it. But as part of the journaling process, it's like, okay, I just want to make sure they're fully rounded out. Part of it is that I'm biased because I love my name. I don't want to do a full disclosure of my full name on the internet, but I love my first, middle, and I love my maiden last name, which is what I publish under. So I just am really obsessed with how much a name can really impact who a person is. So I put that in my stories.
Yeah, I love that. Yep, that's great. So when it comes to, okay, let's talk, because we get to do full spoilers now. The relationship. Let's get into it. The Caleb, Rowan. Did you see that coming? Was that, like, we had talked before about your side of it with the genetics and everything, but their relationship blooming, like, where did that come from? How did you write? Or did it?
Yes. So I've always been partial to childhood friends growing up to be more than friends kind of trope. Because I married my high school sweetheart.
I was about to say, because it's your own life.
Yeah. So, and actually he's my middle school sweetheart. So we spent from middle school on, we've spent our whole lives together. So that's something that really kind of tugs at my heart. Also, like, just growing up, there are a few, like, really close, little boys that I hung out with when I was little. And so wanting to put that in there as well, because I don't know, I'm just like a hopeless romantic. These are things that I think are really fun. But I also knew that the enemies to lovers trope is pretty big right now. So I still wanted to make sure there was that tension. It wouldn't be like an automatic, oh, we finally found each other again, everything's gonna be just fine. But that, like, one is that Callum doesn't know who Rowan is, right, for most of the book. So there's that tension. And then also the fact that, now, Callum was her best friend, in a lot of regards, one of her only friends. And now he's the enemy. He's basically the person that she thinks, took her parents from her, took her life from her. And so having to deal with that of the internal struggle with that.
Yeah. I just had this thought of, like, we get this from Rowan's perspective, so how interesting of, like, she's going through so many struggles, and then I'm just like, Caleb's just like, there's some girl in my house, it's cool, maybe I like her. Like, I'm like, he doesn't have really that much, like, oh, maybe, like, every once in a while, like, she might have a strange backstory. I guess he he does think that she works in a brothel, so that might throw something in there. Yeah. But for the most part, I'm like, she's going through so much internal struggle, and he's just like, found this girl, might help her out.
Right. And
might use her to make my family angry.
Yeah. Yes. And that was a really, I knew from the beginning that it was going to be kind of a stretch to pull off. Like, who the fuck just brings a stranger into their house, especially when they're a high-ranking military official? So I had to really play on Callum's heartstrings and give him a serious reason.
Yeah.
And obviously, we see that through the trauma that she has to endure via Clausen.
Yeah.
And it didn't get to the final draft. There was a backstory, a different character that he had already, kind of saved someone from a similar situation. And so I'm hoping to weave that in through the rest of the series, of like, that gave him more reason why he did bring Rowan into the house. But I always like knew that it was going to be a stretch of like, okay, now there's this random girl that he doesn't know in his house.
Yeah. But I feel like it plays it off. Like, it definitely, because of that, like, the jail scene, that it kind of is like, you need to protect. You pull it off very well. It's just funny to me of, like, now that we're talking about how, like, all the tropes are from her point of view, and he's just over here like, okay. There's a girl in my house.
He's playing his role as, like, a typical male, like, knight in shining
I was going to say, he's got the savior trope kind of going for him.
He does. Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm a sucker for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So am I. That's one of my. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like a little girl in me is just like, yes! Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and then, so then from there, I mean, and then what else plays off really well is from there kind of opening up all of his friends and how it works out. And who, I just love their shopping trip. It's like my favorite thing in the world.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Wait, Crescent, did you like that part?
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
Good.
Yeah, it's just like out of nowhere. It's like, wow, that's, I guess those AI things that they talk about on Twitter are real.
I loved that piece of technology. I'm like, if I was even wondering if I should have made a store out of it, because it could have been something you could actually just put in your home. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm picturing almost like the Clueless, like the Clueless closet that she has and can click through. Like, it's almost that, but futuristic. Like, that's 90s technology. Yeah, I love it.
That would... I enjoy a good shopping, and that would make it life-changing.
But I thought it would be better to go into a store to really play on the dynamic of the three different girl characters.
Yes.
And especially when you're first getting introduced to Bologna, understanding how each of their characters are so different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
A fun scene to do.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it also kind of gets you a read of Rowan. Suffering is not the word, but because she's supposed to be this, like, person who is free with her body and is out of his, and it's like, oh my God, like, what is happening?
It definitely, and just showing, like, the culture too, the culture difference between her life was in a secluded area, wasn't, she had more control over those situations, and now going into, something where being more fluid with your body is accepted, and kind of girls bonding. She never had that, never really had, friend girls to bond with. And so what does that dynamic look like? And then on top of having to play the spy role of being a prostitute, or sex worker.
Yeah. For sure. And then we see it a little bit again, I also like later, where she doesn't know how to do her makeup. And that's where we start to see the cracks of like, honey,
And Althea
go
is
watch
like,
some
"Get
like
your
YouTube
fucking shit
videos.
together."
Yeah, like go watch
Come
some
on.
tutorials,
You gotta be better than this.
honey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that little bit
I
of
know.
cracks.
That's one thing that I love about Althea is like she acts like she doesn't give a fuck, but she's watching everything. She's
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah. The thing about you said about like the different culture, the other thing I came to mind is that like the circus. We get to see Rowan being like absolutely disgusted with it while they're all placing their bets, and that's just their world of like, oh, why would this be an issue?
right.
Which is really cool.
The circus part was actually, I mean, I may have mentioned this last time, but it was shorter in my original manuscripts, and then my editor was like, "Oh, I want more of this," and I'm like, "Okay," and she's like, "Yeah, we at least need like another chapter of the circus," and it was like a crazy. So I had to basically write a whole new chapter midst of this editing phase, and I struggled with it for like a good week or two. Yeah. Of just like trying to know like, okay, well, how would the circus sets play out? What are these creatures? Because you want to like pull on stuff that people kind of know of, and then also create something that's totally new. And it was just like going from the editing mindset to now having to write and create a whole new scene. It's very hard for me to switch between those two.
Yeah.
So, but it ended up being great. I love how it turned out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great point.
So then in the shorter version, was all the interactions with the waitress still in that shorter version?
No, not as much. Not as much. There was some of it, but not a lot of it. I definitely was able to add more about kind of this integration the Excelsior integration program, and how it's usually used just to get the help or true Excelsior, not to actually have these people really succeed. That Rowan was just kind of the exception, really due to circumstances beyond our control, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Well, and like that then gets into her placement where we're meeting Lydia and Freya, which I like. I mean, we have to at some point run into Freya, but I like her interactions with Lydia, and we see, you know, that very business of like at the beginning being like, don't call me my first name and like whatever, and then like slowly cracking, becoming friends and everything, which is a cool.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Oh. Well,
over the Ice Queen boss.
Yeah.
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 Ice Queen boss. That's a good.
That's a great description.
A great description of Freya.
Yeah. Well, because we're talking characters so much, so I'm gonna we're gonna introduce here a series that we're gonna do for Red Rising for probably the next year, once a month, which is what we're calling the ridiculous episodes. And so every episode, once a month, we will have a different theme to rip off of. So it's which characters have seen Barbie, which have seen Oppenheimer, which Taylor Swift albums. So the one we're going to play today is what will actually be our May theme. And it's which of the characters are the most reliable to pick you up from the airport. So we're going to go through the characters. I've got a list, but then you guys, if I didn't include someone, some of them I didn't include because I was like, I feel like this is too obvious on whether or not they would. But if you want to discuss it, we can throw it out there. But yeah, so I mean, right off the top, would Rowan pick you up at the airport?
Yes.
You're
That's
saying
my
yeah.
guess.
I think yeah, but she might be late.
Yes, but late. I was gonna say yes, but like we'll remind you later about it, kind of a thing of like, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll bring this up.
Put it in the owes me one bucket.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Okay, Calum. I think Calum's picking you up at the airport no matter what.
He's picking you up
10
at the
minutes early.
airport.
He's
Yeah.
50.
10
Yeah.
minutes early.
He's in the like tech, like what is it, the like cell phone lot where you have to like
cell phone
text
lot,
and then like yeah.
And he'll be out of the car waiting for you. Get the bags, put them in the car for you. Yeah.
Yeah, he's opening the trunk. He's opening
sure.
your seat. Yeah, for sure. All right. I suddenly am like, how do I pronounce the name? Althea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Althea.
Calls you an Uber.
Calls you an Uber.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I think she would. That's hard. I think she would maybe like back out or show up super late and probably hungover.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, says yes, gets drunk, gets an Uber to the airport to ride back with you.
Yeah. With still a bottle of something to drink in hand.
And yeah.
Yes.
For the record, that's basically what I did to Salem and Tulsa. Said yes, I'd pick you up. Got drunk. Dram sent an Uber. Just saying.
Yep.
You're Althea.
I'm Althea. I feel like I can relate a lot.
Close enough.
Yeah, I can relate.
Close enough.
I can relate enough. Oh yeah, to my government name too. Is that what you mean there? Yeah.
Yeah. It's
one sound. Maybe that's why I can't wrap my brain around it. It's too close to my name.
You're just Taryn, is this character named after me?
Yo, is this story about
Is
me?
it personality? Is this me?
All right, Sankus. Am I pronouncing that one right?
Sankus.
Yeah, Sankus.
Yeah, I think he'd do it, but he'd be chill about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, shows up like
he's not gonna be like, hey, remember that time?
Yeah. But I think he already has plans on where he's
late.
taking you. He's like, I'm picking you up, but then we're going for right? Like, he's not just going to drop you at the house. He's going to expect like a brief hangout as well.
True. Want some bonding time.
Yeah. Yeah. Ulysses.
Tells you he's coming, never shows up.
Never shows
Yeah, I was
up.
going to say ghosts. Just straight up ghosts you. Leaves you there.
Calls in a bomb threat on you.
You never even get like the whole airport shuts down. Your plane never lands. Has to go to a different airport. Yep.
Yep.
No, like says that you're somehow carrying a bomb. So you like.
Oh my gosh. Oh jeez.
Oh. All right. Baylor.
Fuck that guy.
Taylor 100% would pick you up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's got dad mode activated. He's
Yes.
Yeah.
Brings the big vehicle.
Yeah.
He'll have,
Sure, he's
you know,
got like a
small
blanket.
talk, questions.
He's got snacks. He's like, here's your bottle of water. Do you need some peanuts? When was the last time you ate?
He's just his own airline.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. All right, Bologna.
Yeah, but she wouldn't talk to
Yes.
you as soon as you entered the car.
Well, that's it. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like
it's
she would
taxi
do it
mode.
out of
The
duty.
divider goes up.
Yeah. She's doing it out of duty,
makes
but
it in the
she's not
back.
happy about it.
Hates
Yeah.
it the whole time.
Yeah.
Will
like, I only hear 'cause
absolutely make you
Callum asked
reimburse
me
her for
to.
gas.
Yeah. All right, Lydia.
Who's Lydia?
What's the Freya's, like, the coworker?
The assistant?
Lynn.
What's her name? Why did I
Lynn.
write Lynn? Why did I write Lydia?
Hlin.
L. Okay. I swear, I don't know why that stuck in my brain. All right.
Is it different in the Canadian version?
It shouldn't be.
Canadian translation.
I swear I found... I don't know why it's stuck in my brain.
Then there's Lorinda.
Maybe
Dr.
that's... Yeah, Dr. Young.
Dr. Young.
What chapter is they? Anyway, all right. Dr. Young.
She would also pick you up, but somehow make it your fault that the plane was late.
Yeah.
And also complain that she could have been working.
Yeah. Okay, I looked it up. Lydia is Mrs. Martinez. Because I was like leafing through the book earlier. I was like just grabbing the names out because I was like, who? Yeah.
Lydia Martinez. Yep, that's right.
Lydia Martinez. Who then you meet Dr. Young in the same, like, that's why I'm getting the two confused. Yeah. Yeah, I think, Dr. Young is not happy to be there. Again, does it out of duty, but, like, not pleased about it. Will somehow get the company to reimburse. It's a tax write-off for whatever reason.
True. It's a tax write-off.
Just write it off. Yeah.
She actually only
researching traffic patterns.
Right. She actually only came because you told her that you have like some really cool vials of specimen in your bag, you know?
Yes. Yeah. That you somehow got through security.
Bottle of booze.
That you like lied about it.
The airport-sized bottle of booze. I like it. Yeah.
May spray you down with like Lysol or something.
I like it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely puts a seat cover. Well, I was like mechanic seat covers.
Yeah. You're wearing the N95 mask as well because you've been on that tight confined place. She doesn't trust that you've been breathing the air. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Last one I have listed is Freya. Is Freya coming to get you at the airport?
I think it depends.
Sends the family car.
Sends the family car. That's a good one.
Sends the family car. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yep. I like it. I like it. Oh, that's all I've got for those. So let's talk Freya for a second because I feel like she is one of the most complex, anyway, characters because we meet her as the bitchy Caleb's mom that we know has worked with Rowan's dad. So there's that kind of mix, but then we get more intricate as we go. But also, can we talk about, it's not her parents that are the grandparents that are there, right?
It's Erebus's.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're the best. And I just love them putting her like the only people who can put her in her place a little bit. Like
they are the best. It really was it was hard for me because I still don't like Callum's father. He is kind of like just this wet blanket in the book, just kind of there, which is intentional in the fact that he's supposed to be kind of absent and then also having a fling with this younger woman, even though he's clearly married. And so it was hard for me because I'm like, man, you know, Erebus's parents, Callum's grandparents are so cool. They like, why is his dad like trash? So, that'll be revealed down the road too, maybe a little bit. I mean, right now it's Freya's the obvious villain antagonist in this book, and so more of her backstory will be revealed. But yeah, I just love how like, yeah, they're just so welcoming, and they're just like the grandparents that you want.
Yeah, they're fantastic. They're so much fun. But yeah, Freya, like, very interesting of the like, the character development of just this, like, all right, Callum's mom. All right, we kind of know that there's a little bit happening. And then by the end, like, that was, like, we know she doesn't like Rowan, but at what point do you and maybe this is, you can't tell us because this might be future books. Do you think that she picked up on who Rowan was? Like, did she know?
She's always
known the moment she's...
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, it's the red hair, right? Like,
yeah.
It was
well, she's been dyeing her hair, so...
It was the fact that, you know, in Freya's underground lab, she's been watching Rowan this whole time.
Right.
And yes. Yeah.
She's the one who set it in motion to get Rowan back into the coalition.
Right.
Because Ulysses, you know, is the one who put the journal, through Derek. Used Derek to put the journal in her shed, so she found it. That raised questions. She wants to go back into the coalition. And then Ulysses, under Freya's orders, sabotages the mission.
Yeah.
So, but the whole premise was basically that Freya used Rowan as a control for the Promethean experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So she's always known who Rowan is. She kind of understand at the end of maybe why she wanted Rowan back in the picture, but it will be further revealed in your books.
Why? I like it. Because, yeah, you left us on quite the cliffhanger.
Yes.
There.
Dangling by 3 fingernails and 1 toe.
One toe.
All right.
The toe is the support.
Yeah. So we can last slightly longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, if it makes you feel any better, in my original manuscript, it didn't end on the cliffhanger. I actually had, in order to get my word count down, because my first manuscript was 200,000 words, which is basically 2 books. In order to get my word count down, I cut the last third or quarter of the book, which will then I'll be used in book 2. But I like how it ended on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, well, I feel like it gets from a marketing perspective, it makes sense.
For
and
sure.
As a reader, I both love cliffhangers and I hate them because I obviously want to know more, but I like kind of that satisfaction of oh, you've got me, right? Yeah. So you're already... Sorry, go on.
I like how it gives space for readers to think about their own kind of oh, what's going to happen next? Or think,
Yeah.
I know you, Skipper, are not much of a theorizer.
No.
But I like how it will set up certain expectations for some people. Then the author comes in and just kind of blasts them out. Is nope, this is how I'm doing it. And then it gives people more intrigue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, so you started, obviously, the second one, and you actually posted on Instagram, I think, was that today or yesterday, about you were writing part of the third.
Yeah. So, yes, book 2 is not even close to being done. Being pregnant through, the release of this book and then trying to focus on book 2, it's just, the creative energy is not, and my energy in general is just not there.
Yeah.
I feel like this child is literally sucking all of my creativity, and she's like, "Excuse me, you are already creating something," and it's me. So book 2 has been a little bit hard for a few reasons. And then I was going to bed one night, and this scene from book 3 popped in my head, and I was like, I need to write it down. And it's actually been I used to write a lot like that. Where I would have to wake up in the middle of the night to either write or to jot down a quick scene, or even if it's just a couple quotes to get idea of what I want the book to look like, or a plot line. For the most part, I have a general outline for book 3. Book 2, I have a specific outline for it, and it's just getting down and writing on the page.
Yeah.
So, now as I'm reflecting on, man, I wonder why it was so easy to write that scene. When I'm writing a novel, have a plot board. I usually use either a 3-act or a 4-act plot, and you have to lay out major points, right? And so your major points are like stuff like the inciting incident. You have your first clinch point. Then at the end you have your climax and your resolution, right? And then there's a few other things in the middle. But I always start with those scenes, and usually when you're writing a book, you know what's happening in the beginning and you know what's happening at the end. And it's that middle part that you kind of have to really like fudge through and explore. And it's a lot of like the filling in details. And so I think that's why book 2 is kind of hard for me at this moment, because 1 is done. Book 3, I know kind of how I want to wrap things up. Book 2 is like, okay, what is the meat of it?
Mm-hmm.
Is just kind of a little tougher.
Yeah, well, and I guess it just makes sense to me of trying to bridge the gap between beginning and end, and like weaving everything, and so many characters as well, that you don't want to lose somebody of like, oh, I should probably mention them somewhere, right? Like there's so many things to juggle.
And that's this is a minor spoiler, but that's part of it too, is actually a lot of the characters that you've already met, you're going to step away from for book 2 and then come back to and work in book 3. And so, I have all these characters that I've already spent time with, and I know, I have an idea of what is going to happen in book 2, and I can see these characters interacting again in book 3. So like, I just kind of want to play with them some more and flesh that out, and then come back to the middle. So I don't know, much to Cashew's chagrin, I might have book 3 finished before book 2.
Whatever works, man. Whatever works. I mean, because then you could go back and tweak, right? Like, if you finished 3, quote unquote, it's not like you would be sending it to the publisher. So if you have to tweak a couple things, then you do it. And then that's overall going to help your system, how you're writing. Like, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
Oh, and honestly, like, this is my first time doing this shit.
Yeah.
Like, sure, I wrote 1 book, but as far as like writing a series, and this is my first time doing it. So you're just kind of figuring out, what is your flow? What does your system look like? And how are you going to attack the problem?
Yeah, for sure. Makes total sense. So then I won't even ask the question of when we can expect book 2, because I don't want to put pressure on you. I want it to be a good book. People, I don't know. I feel like this might be judgmental of me.
We can just say we're very excited.
We're very excited. But I feel like when people push the author of like, where's my next book? It's like, then you're not going to get the same quality. And I want a quality book from you.
Right. It's definitely, the timeline has been adjusted, because I thought that I could really pluck out a first draft before baby comes. But just with so many distractions of the baby coming, and then my fatigue, it hasn't worked out that way. Like, it's crazy, because last year, I did a stint for, it was like Camp NaNoWriMo, so it wasn't the big one, but it was like a smaller one. And I finished like a first draft in 6 weeks or something, like 6 or 8 weeks. And so I know, like, it was for a fantasy project. And so like, I know that I could like actually do it. But you just have to take everything in the seasons that you're in, right? Yeah. So it is kind of, I'm glad that people are very excited to read book 2. It's just, I feel honored that people really want to read book 2. And I want to give everyone book 2 so I can, well, it's not waiting too long, right? Yeah. Because if you wait too long, then people aren't as excited for it.
Yeah.
But that being said, it is a process, because, you have to make sure that you're still putting out quality work.
For sure. And I mean, just the draft also, like, once you get draft 1, that's not like it's, and publish. Like there's still steps, and I think people don't understand that in publishing. Of so how many drafts? I might have asked this before. How many drafts were there for book one? Do you know? Like so many.
Countless.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah.
I mean, part of that's because like this was the first book that I wrote.
Yeah.
And I did not know what the fuck I was doing. And so I really struggled with, I took my time figuring it out. Now I understand a little bit more of what I'm doing because, or at least I think I do. I've written 2 books. One is just a first draft. But definitely as you cement your writing style, it gets easier.
Yeah.
And so, like, even though I will have a first draft done, I still have to go back on my own and at least do a draft 2 before I even submit it to my publisher.
Okay.
Just to make sure that, because who was it? The author of The Handmaid's Tale.
Margaret Atwood.
Margaret Atwood. She said that the first draft is just you telling yourself the story. You're just figuring out who is where and what they're doing and stuff like that. And draft 2 is really where the story is being crafted. And so I love draft 2s because of that. Yeah, it does take time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and as you said, like your editor gets a say in it as well of flesh out this more. I'm sure on the opposite of we don't need this, right? Like there's that back and forth communication.
Well, yeah, so then after that, like, let's say I do 3 drafts of my own, there's at least 3 more drafts with my editor.
Right. Yeah. Crazy how it all works.
Yeah. Wild.
You want to play another game?
You get to pull back the curtain.
Yeah.
So what were your favorite parts then?
I really
Who were your favorite characters?
Oh.
Althea.
Yeah. She's just so much like I want her to be my friend. Like she's just so chill. Chill but not chill, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the circus was one of my favorite parts because it kept me in the lurch for so long of what is happening, and I greatly appreciate that. And then even like when Ulysses shows up, well, every time he shows up, because I'm like, what the fuck side are you on? What the fuck?
Like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, the last one though, where he's in the well, it's not even him. I forget his name, the little boy.
Derek. They're both in the garden.
They're both in the garden, but like you get kind of a like more again. It's like I like those moments where I can't puzzle out what's happening and how this is going down and whose side is anybody playing for right now. So I greatly appreciate that. I also like the proposal scene, but also I think mainly because like I'm totally Rowan that if someone proposed to me in front of everyone, I'd be like, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Fuck you.
No, do not make us shove this. But then her puzzling it out of like, yeah, her puzzling. Actually, I feel like people who know me would think that I would want to be proposed to in front of a whole thing. Like people are like, she loves being center of attention. I'm like, no, that moment is for 2 people.
Right, it's a very intimate moment.
Yeah, but her puzzling it out of like, oh, this is probably why. That got me as well, because I was like, okay, I can see how this works. Yeah.
I love that moment where she's like, oh my gosh, this is it. He found out. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, this is it. I'm gonna die.
Yep.
He turned in.
Yep.
The wheels are coming off.
Yep.
Problems are happening.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Cousin, what are your favorite?
I think my favorite part is the garden, as as awful and sad as it is. I feel like the stakes get raised. Yeah. And like for me it felt like kind of the gas pedal went down at that point. It was just like, all right, well, guess I'm finishing this book right now.
Yep.
It definitely was the turning point. It was the wake-up call for Rowan that she needed. Like, I can't that she realized that she could not stay there.
Yeah.
And I was worried that I wouldn't be able to pull that off because we only saw Derek for such a small part, And so I was worried that, sure, obviously any child, dying, this is spoilers, is tragic. And I just was hoping that people would still feel that, even though we didn't spend a lot of time with Derek.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think you did, because she talks about him enough.
Landed for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, she reminisces about him.
Yeah.
A fair few times.
That was something that my editor had me pull through. She's like, she even admitted that, children dying is one of her triggers, so she kind of had to gloss over that part a little bit. But she's like, if this is going to happen, we need you to pull him through a little bit more when she's on her mission of thinking about him.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So.
Yep. Makes total sense. Yeah. Love it. All right, you want to play another game? Yeah. All right, so the other segment that we're introducing to Fade is what we're calling Sleepless in Sungrave. So this is reminiscent of Sleepless in Seattle or Frasier. I feel like Frasier might be actually the reference that more people know of those call-in radio therapy sessions of people anonymously call in. So we've come up with 3 for your books. And we're going to pretend that we are the therapists, and these are anonymously called it. So you as the author, I feel like in this moment, are going to maybe struggle with this. Of pretend you don't know as much backstory.
Okay.
And answer the problems, the relationship problems of these people. They're not all relationship problems, but the first one definitely is. So, think of it as friend of a friend, So, dear Sleepless in Sungrave, I discovered that the cute military general who is housing me is actually my childhood crush. What should I do? Sincerely, Rebel with a cause.
Oh my gosh, this is cute.
Right? It's hard. Well, so based on not knowing background,
I'd be like, make your move.
I'd say make your move. I would right? This is what you've been kind of waiting for. Right? How long have you been
in the morning?
Yeah, there you go. Have some scotch with him.
Did you have the PS in there?
Oh, I edited the PS. You can throw the PS back in there. What is it? PS, I'm trying to secretly take down the military.
Overthrow his military.
I took that part. Cute military boy. It totally changes the dynamic of ooh, okay, now you've got to be more subtle. Because I feel like without the PS, it's yeah, make your move. With it, it's ooh, you've got...
Yeah.
It's a difficult one, because with that, yeah, that's why I took the PS out, because I was but I don't know. I'd still say make your move.
I would still say make your move and then bring him to your side.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is he sympathetic?
Mm-hmm. We know he has a heart. We know there's something there.
Yeah, sounds like he has a real heart of jade.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's pretend this may or may not be a different person calling in. I just found that I'm actually a genetic experiment. How do I tell my boyfriend? Sincerely, X-Men in training.
X-Men in training. I mean, it should be, how do I tell my boyfriend that your mom created me in a lab?
That's true. There's
fair.
Wait, does that make... No, it doesn't. Not biological siblings, but
they're not
theoretical siblings. But Freya totally rejected her as basically almost even being human. Didn't even want anyone to have any contact with her. So, I think it's
Oh.
though, like, your mom's kind of like a monster. Does he even understand the like insanity of what his mom has done? And then so it's not even like I'm a genetic, like if we add that part in, it's not even I'm a genetic experiment, which I feel like you could twist it of like, help me through this. Now it's that your mom has basically fucked up my life.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that would, and it did not go over well.
No.
no, it did not.
No, it did
Which
not.
I'm sure we will see more fallout of that as well as the next book. Yep.
Indeed.
Just not along. Just not along. The last one we kind of already touched on, but I'm going to throw it out there and we can go real in depth on this one. Everyone thinks everyone thinks I work in a brothel. I barely know what that is. How do I keep up the ruse? Sincerely, is this too much rouge?
This is too much rouge. That's funny. I would just tell her to look up some hollows.
I was gonna say there's a lot of different types of hollows too, in theory.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Not just the makeup and the yep.
And the shopping.
In the shopping. Yeah, there's some other elements of there that might have to come in handy.
Yeah.
Why
Especially if you try to woo the soldier to your side.
Yeah, right? Out of curiosity, why was that the placement of like the backstory you gave her?
Okay. So honestly, it was just one of those things that so I call it flow when I'm just in my writing zone and just words are spewing out, and then even if they're just like on plot or away from plot, it was just something that happened in flow. And so it's just like it hit the page of, oh yeah, your backstory is now that you're a prostitute or a sex worker, you know how and it was one of those things where I was like, oh, Taryn, that's kind of interesting. Could have been a million other things. But for some reason, that was the box that I put myself in, that I put my story in. And I was like, cool, we're going to make this work. And that was kind of how it happened. And I think that I did want to, really, it's something that isn't also just talked about, right? It's something that's still a pretty taboo topic. So, but it's also something that's very real, Yeah. So I wanted to bring that to my book. I mean, that's one thing that I wanted to bring to my book is hard topics that no one wants to talk about, but they're also very real and that we should be having a discussion about, and a big thing of that is genetic engineering. I think personally is a huge topic. The morals and ethics of it need to be discussed more because we're at the threshold now. Like it's happening. And so these are conversations that we need to start having.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, and I think you do a really good job of, especially for the science. But as you say, like, it's a positive representation of a sex worker. Like, and everyone's pretty actually really good about it. Of like, okay, like that's it's more their questioning of like you're kind of really bad at this.
Like outright disrespectful.
Yeah, they're more just like poking holes at like you're really bad for us, right? Like, what do you mean you can't do makeup? What do you mean you cover your body? Like,
right. It was really hard to write about because right now you have a huge dynamic of people who are more sex positive and sex workers and that it's legitimate, and then you have people who don't feel that way. Mm-hmm. So having to walk that line in a very respectful way of bringing both sides to the story, but I also wanted to show how there is a difference between how it's viewed at each level of the society. And so you have Humulus, you have Media, and you have Excelsius, and each one of them use it slightly differently. Where obviously, if these things, if people are being, Rowan's backstory, her case was that it was something that she was forced into and not that she chose it.
Right.
And that that's kind of how it is in media. It's still pretty secretive. It's black market stuff. Where you're in Excelsius, you see that it is accepted, that people don't really bat an eye at it, kind of a thing. And I think that really represents our society today, is that you still have different sects of people who think differently.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huh? Awesome. Well, that's all I've got for those three, unless Crescent, you've thought of another one.
No, I did not.
I almost want to spin the genetic experiment of I just found out that my son is engaged to my genetic experiment. What do I do?
What I do?
I don't think Freya would ever reach out to therapy. She's not in therapy. She knows better. Like, she thinks she knows better than that.
Huh.
But yeah. Can you just imagine, though, like, yeah, Freya's, like, I'm just trying to picture, like, her thought process of watching that proposal go down, of like, oh no, right? Like, he's getting attached.
Yeah. And it's good and it's bad, and it, at the end you find out that's kind of what she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And she's playing her own game.
Yeah.
So it'll be, I wish I could tell you more without I mean, this is like full no spoilers for book one, but as far as for the whole series,
yeah, you know more.
Still have to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, we're sitting here like, oh, whatever, but then, yeah, you can't answer some of our questions, perhaps.
Right. I just was at a book club yesterday. My sister had her book club read my book, and so I went there and talked to everybody. And yeah, they were asking me like similar questions and I'm like, I can't answer that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be so hard. Does anyone know anything, or do you keep it all to yourself? Like, does your husband know anything? Does your editor, like, does anybody
My husband knows a lot. He probably doesn't remember, because he remembers nothing. And then my editor, one thing when, I submitted my stuff and she's like, okay, for me to give you proper feedback on manuscript and the character arcs and the plot overall, I kind of need to know what your plan is for the next couple books. And yes, so she knows an overarching plot. Yep. Which is great, because then it's like, someone you can kind of bounce ideas off of if you need to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So is it then 3 and done, or is there other things in this world? Or are you that person who you've written your 3, you want to move on? You had said you'd written a fantasy, like you want to move on. Or is it too early for me to ask that question?
There is a fantasy series that I want to write. And I will probably get to that next. Mm-hmm. After I finish book 2, because I'm just really excited about the project. And the first draft obviously needs a lot of work still, but how the characters fleshed out, I'm really happy with. And it's third person, which was a bit of a struggle for me, but I also really like how it's turning out. This series, 3 books is what's planned. Of course, I don't want to get into, like, I don't want it to be, a 4-book series. I want to try and stick to a trilogy. I just like how clean a trilogy is.
Yeah.
There is a spin-off idea I have. I'm not sure how committed I am to it.
Right.
And it would probably be down the line after I finish this fantasy idea.
Cool. Well, we look forward to anything you write.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I will buy all of it.
Buy all of it.
When do we get merch? That's the real question, because Crescent is here for merch.
That is a question that
I've only ever actually been here for Red Rising merch. It's the only merch I have.
Really? You just seem like the merch king.
Indie merch.
Well then.
I don't really think I have. Well, I have Red Rising merch. Is most of the stuff that I buy. I think I have like a couple.
I have so much merch.
Sarah J. Maas things.
I have so much merch.
My husband and I, we have pretty much a whole room dedicated to Shit Escalates stuff right now.
Nice.
But I don't know. I think I need a little bit more of a following to do merch. Just trying to get people to read my book, even though I haven't been great on social media presence lately because creative juices are dry. And it's
growing a human.
Hey, and it's like I want to spend my creative juices on actually writing instead of silly reels and stuff like that. So it's just a fine balance of trying to market yourself and then actually do your fucking job.
Yeah. Well, and that seems to be a larger discussion in book world of how much pressure is now being put on authors to market themselves in comparison to before. It was, you wrote the book, there it is, bye. Like, we didn't even sometimes know what any authors looked like. So are you feeling that there's a lot of trying to balance all aspects of it?
Right. It is very hard to balance all aspects of it. And it's really hard because I'm a debut author. I'm a debut small press author. And so there is no money to be had for my marketing. And so you're just trying to build a community from the ground up. And I'm very lucky to have the Dens community. Very, very lucky. And so a lot of it is just, I'm on like a couple of Facebook groups, like reading groups, and they're like, oh, I'm looking for book recommendations and stuff like that. And I'm like, just, every morning I wake up and I scroll through those and I'm like, read my book, and it's just like little things like that to try and get it in people's minds. But I also know that people are more likely to start a book if the series is complete.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me is like, I'm not going to actually get a whole lot of traction until the whole series comes out, because I know that there are a lot of readers out there and they're only looking for finished series because they don't like to wait. I am not that way, but I understand how people are that way. So I'm like, oh man, I should really just like pluck these out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, kind of maybe focus on marketing. One of my good author friends, she goes through social media routes, or I don't know what you call it, but basically she will walk away from her marketing campaign for 3 months just to pluck out a draft.
Yep.
And I think definitely I'm kind of veering that point of like, okay, my baby comes in 2.5 months. Not only do I have to prepare for her, but I do need to start taking writing too seriously, or at least addressing the rest of the series seriously. And so giving myself space and time where I don't have to worry about marketing might be the best way to go.
Yeah. On the note of marketing, where can people follow you? And I mean, people who they've made it this far, they have read the book, or else they've spoiled the whole book for them. So where can they follow you, and what can they do to promote you more? What would you like to see people doing to help you out?
Well, you can follow me at Taryn L Davidson on Instagram. That's my handle. Should be a similar handle or the same handle on TikTok. Really, the things I post on Instagram go on TikTok, vice versa. And then so on the Facebooks, same thing, Taryn L Davidson. On my website, www.tarynldavidson.com. So pretty easy that way. And I think that the biggest thing, I mean, obviously sharing content's always good, but they're more likely to pick up a book if you recommend it like face to face.
Yeah.
If you're like, you know, telling friends and family, like, you read this book, gift it to people, and reviews. As far as, you know, even if you just leave a star rating, or if you a quick 1-sentence review on my book on Goodreads, Amazon, and Barnes & Noble. The best way to get visibility for Barnes & Noble and for Amazon is definitely getting over a threshold of a certain amount of reviews. And so, like, for my book to pop up, I'm like, you might like this book, you know, kind of a thing. It needs a certain amount of ratings and reviews.
Right.
I don't know what that threshold is. I think there's, you know, obviously increments. I'm really close to, on Goodreads, you know, having 50. I think I'm getting there on Amazon. But things and reviews is definitely necessary. And then it also gives my publisher an idea of feedback as well.
Amazing. Love that. Yep. I was going to say on Instagram, the other thing that's great is to make sure people are liking and comment is actually the best thing to do on Instagram, is to hold, even if you just fire emoji. Oh my God, fire emoji is perfect for your book. I didn't even think of that. I just was like, fire emoji, great. It's perfect for yours. Is huge. So let's get everybody listening and watching. Sharing links is huge. It'll pick up the algorithm. Let's make sure everybody's doing that so that we can promote you and get book 2 and 3 and then more into fantasy and wherever else you may lead us.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of stories planned, and it's really fun for me. So
that's awesome.
Obviously, most writers don't write full time, so that's not really the expectation. But you know, they have a different full-time job, and then they write part-time. But even if I would love to just like work part-time and write part-time. That would be great.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, yeah, everybody, I mean, even if you comment, let's get everyone to comment on this video as well with fire emojis, because that'll boost this. And go back. What's probably actually better is if you go back, there will be a link directly above us now. That if you go back to our last one, that's the spoiler free. If we push that one, then that'll get people who have not yet read the series. Go back to that one and post fire emojis in the comment section so we can get it on the algorithm as well and push that to the wider YouTube.
The wider webs.
Yeah, which would be great. I love it. Well, thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, we will definitely have you back in either as an author or as Twist, our favorite bartender, for future things. Oh my God, we can do a ridiculous episode of what all the characters' favorite drinks would be. We know Mustang is lemon drop, but like I feel like you could do a whole.
Mustang is lemon drop.
It's not lemon drop. It's what is it with a twist that she finds to piss off Lysander? It's lemon. It's something with a twist.
Oh.
Vodka with a twist?
Vodka.
It's what she tells Victor she would drink when they win to piss off Lysander.
I could see vodka with a twist.
I'm drinking lemon drop. That's why it's in my head. But yeah, I feel like we'll have you on.
That would be
punch with a lemon twist.
Vodka punch?
Yeah, with a lemon twist.
Lemon twist. Interesting. I would not have guessed that.
Yeah. Well, we'll go through and we'll play. Maybe that can be our June one.
Be all about
that can be our June. Ridiculous.
Maybe
no,
let's go
no,
later
because
in
that's when
June.
you're having. Okay, let's do
I'm
like
due in June.
September. Let's go with like September. We'll push it way back.
Let us know when you feel comfortable consuming alcohol again,
Yes.
and we will
Yes.
plan around that.
We'll do it. It'll be
Hey,
perfect.
Pump and dump is a thing.
Yeah. Yes, it is. There you go. For those watching, so next week we will have Salem for our first Sleepless in Sun Grave episode. By the time this is airing, we will have already recorded, or we'll record the next day, so you won't have time to submit, but that is an ongoing series, so feel free to give us the ridiculous prompts in the same way you saw the ones here. And then the week after that is a whole panel of people. For sure, Jabs and Meringue. We're hoping Merlot, based on when his baby is coming. And possibly Dram, depending on her work schedule. And we will all be discussing Taylor Swift and Red Rising and the possible connections between the Taylor Swift eras and each character.
That'll be fun.
The morning of April 20th, we're not going to tell you what's happening, but just
But there's
put
a
it
thing.
in your schedule. Put it in your schedule,
The
people.
20th or the 21st?
I think I don't know. We'll see. We'll discuss that, and then on April 1st, we will give you an official announcement.
One of those days.
It'll be fine. It'll be great. All right.
It will.
At Twist, Taryn, whoever you are, thank you as always for
all of the
joining
above.
us.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
of course.
amazing. Yes.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Of course.
Thanks everybody for watching and listening. We do appreciate you audio listeners, even though you don't get the full thing.
Yeah. You're watching us inside your brain. We appreciate
Yeah.
it.
What do you think we're wearing to? Oh, you can't even really see that I'm wearing what shirt I'm wearing. But anyway, there's no point in asking that question. I am wearing my self-rescuing princess shirt because I thought that was like slightly appropriate. I feel like Rowan would be a self-rescuing princess for the most part. She obviously needs a little bit of help, but she attempts. I think she thinks of herself as a self-rescuing princess.
Right. I mean, I think that's the thing about every strong woman, that you can do it. You will do it better with other people.
Yeah.
You can rescue yourself, you can save yourself, you can do it, but with other people it just goes more smoothly.
Definitely. I like it.
Yep.
I like it. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.